Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. We've heard some really interesting things around the future of Call of Duty, especially this year when it comes to inside information, new leaks, new rumors. Recently, Call of Duty's also been promoting Black Ops 7 with some really strange marketing with everything going on with the Guild and all their technology stuff and AI stuff that they've got going on there. But we recently, overnight, just got a bunch of new leaks. And over the past few days, in fact, got a couple of new leaks as well that seemingly indicate that Call of Duty might be changing some things for the better. Like, it does appear maybe they're actually finally listening some. And I think the timing is very funny because obviously we're coming off of the Battlefield 6 beta, which of course took the internet by storm, actually broke Call of Duty's peak player count on Steam in just their first beta weekend. I have to imagine this upcoming beta is probably going to do it once again. But the timing is interesting, and it does seem like maybe we're going to see some positive changes here in the very near future. So we've got quite a few tweets to break down here today. This first one is from Alex, known leaker and data miner in the community, regarding some Black Ops 7 content. Originally, Alex posted saying, okay, I've got a new Black Ops 7 leak. Slums Raid from Black Ops 2 and Gridlock from Black Ops 4 seem to be some of the maps for Black Ops 7. You may recall we've heard a lot of different leaks and rumors over the past few months saying that a lot of Black Ops 2 content is going to be in Black Ops 7, and there will be like some reskin stuff going on there. So if you're a fan of the Black Ops 2 maps, that's obviously good news there. And then recently, Alex did also follow this up by saying another map is going to be Standoff. So if you're a fan of those maps, the design, the flow of those, could be good news for you there. That's hardly the biggest info that's been revealed though. So this is a bit of a multi-step leak. There's different parts to this, but a while back in July, the Ghost of Hope talked about how Tac Sprint was in fact a feature in Black Ops 7. Tac Sprint has been a really hot topic in the community ever since it was introduced. Do we need it? Is it unnecessary? Black Ops 6, of course, introduced Slipstream and in its multiplayer gameplay, a perk that gives you a higher base movement speed but gets rid of Tac Sprint, and that's personally all I run when I'm doing multiplayer, essentially. Now, I love the feel of that. You know, a lot of people aren't really huge fans of Tac Sprint being in the game. It's destroying thumbsticks because you got to press it in so much, or you have to worry about auto Tac Sprint. It changes time to kills because of your auto Tac Sprint to fire speeds and, you know, Tac Sprint to ADS speeds and everything like that. Just adding in a layer there that's a bit different. So there's been a lot of conversation of should this be in COD going forward. And recently, the Ghost of Hope followed up and said there's currently a build of Black Ops 7 being tested right now that has no Tac Sprint, probably based off of community feedback and trying to gauge, okay, does the game play well without Tac Sprint involved? This doesn't mean the final game won't have it, but this is a very good sign. And we actually get more good news on top of this because Hope followed up with more details on this. Late last night, Hope quoted that original tweet saying they're testing a build without Tac Sprint by saying, looks like this decision is actually final and not just some offshoot test build. W. So based on this leak, and keep in mind all these details here today are leaks and they are rumors, so this is not 100% officially confirmed by any means. It won't be until Call of Duty come out themselves and say something, or we get actual details here. We obviously got Gamescom coming up with opening night live where Black Ops 7 is going to be shown. There will actually be gameplay of it. Presumably it'll be campaign, but it'll still give us a good idea of what to expect as far as some of this information goes, movement, general gameplay design, things of that nature, right? But these are just leaks and rumors, so take them with a grain of salt. But this would mean that at launch, if this comes to fruition, Tac Sprints will be no longer in Call of Duty multiplayer, and Black Ops 7 will be more of that standard Call of Duty movement. There might be a more increased, you know, base sprint speed. We're going to have to wait and see what they do as far as the approach goes for that, but Tac Sprint could be fully getting removed here for Call of Duty multiplayer, and I'd have to imagine Warzone would probably see more of the same. They've done a little bit in, you know, recent seasonal updates, especially this year, kind of trying to change up Warzone's gameplay design from the multiplayer so it's not one-to-one, so maybe they could go in their own direction a little bit more in Black Ops 7. That is something to monitor for sure, but if the movement is received well in multiplayer, it's hard to imagine them ignoring that for Warzone, of course, when they need that integration to do well, given the current state of things, you know, post Verdansk, where the hype has really dwindled down some. But Tac Sprint potentially being out of here likely in direct response to all the feedback over the past few games of people not really loving what Tac Sprint offers in the game. And by the way, as we're going through these various different leaks and rumors here, if you guys enjoy the video, a like rating is always seriously appreciated. And if you're new to the channel, you want to ensure you're always up to date with all the major things going on in Call of Duty, no better place to be than right here. So feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications, and help get us one step closer to hitting 1 million subscribers. Another new leak here, Hope posts saying looping streaks may be back in Black Ops 7. This is another feature that the community's been talking about a ton over the years. Why is this not a thing in Call of Duty? You know, you get your one life, you get your UAV, you get your counter, you get your advanced if you're trying to go on high kill streaks there, and then you're pretty much set for that life. Not much more to do there. Looping streaks, always back in the day, was such a fun thing. You could put on some high streaks, just go for absolutely insane kill counts if you were dominating the lobby. Now it's like, okay, you get one good life and then you're stuck waiting essentially. So looping streaks being fully back in Black Ops 7 would be another thing that I think a lot of players in the community would really enjoy seeing, and once more, likely based on a lot of that feedback you know, from iterations where looping streaks weren't available. And then another interesting one here, originally Hope post saying, as far as I'm aware, there are no doors on these 6v6 maps for Black Ops 7. Obviously, doors being in Call of Duty has been another topic that's had a lot of controversy, a lot of hot conversation around it because of it adding that extra layer to multiplayer maps. Some people like that they can close the door behind them, sort of shut off a lane, that they can bash through doors and break cameras a little bit with it. Other players just not a huge fan of doors. This has been a conversation somehow every single year. Is the game gonna have doors? Okay, it's inherently worse. You know, that's genuinely been a talking point when Call of Duties get revealed. Hope goes on to expand more by saying, supposedly a few of these maps have those automated doors sparsely around the map like Black Ops 4 had, but I don't think anybody has a problem with this, including myself. There's no doors you have to bash through or interact with in the game. So there might be like some sliding automatic doors when you're running up a choke point and it senses your motion and it like just automatically opens up. That's been on Call of Duty for a while. A lot of games have had maps like that. And again, like Hope says, I don't think that's really a huge deal because it's not something you're constantly running into, nor is it spammed across every map. But no doors at all in the multiplayer maps. Again, something that the community's been pretty vocal about, funny enough. So it could be them actually hearing that feedback and saying, okay, we can simplify things some. And especially, you know, you connect this to the rumor of those Black Ops 2 maps returning for multiplayer. You add doors to those, and that is changing the fundamental elements of some of those classic maps that played so well back in the day. And we've seen iterations, you know, remastered in CODs that do have doors plastered everywhere. So it does change things up. Interesting details there as well. Now, obviously, because these are just all leaks and rumors, we gotta wait and see what the real deal is, what actually comes to fruition here. And some of these things are a little bit more minor in terms of the grand scheme of things and the general scale of gameplay, right? Like doors being there might be really annoying for you, but it also might mean very little to a lot of other players as well. Movement obviously is a lot more of a core feature, which is a pretty big change there if they're completely getting rid of Tac Sprint and whatnot. And of course, going back to, you know, the Black Ops 2 maps and everything, those being fan favorites in this franchise for a long time, having more accessibility and options for those could be good as well. So maybe this is Call of Duty feeling the heat a little bit. You know, I doubt a lot of these decisions were made just this week when Battlefield 6 started going crazy. That'd be a little bit too quick of a response time for things like this, but it could be something that was trending in this direction. They were testing things in this direction, and then they saw the feedback and it's like, okay, we really got to appeal to the player base a little bit. We might need to, you know, actually convince some players this year since there's competition out there now, which is good. As I've been talking about a lot, I keep spamming this line, but when Battlefield is good, that's good for us, the Call of Duty players as well, because it's going to make Call of Duty have to do better. And then when that does better, it's good for the Battlefield players because it's going to make Battlefield do better. This could be this already starting to come to fruition. We saw the anti-cheat response basically from Call of Duty right after Battlefield did. We're seeing some seemingly positive updates and changes and leaks for Black Ops 7 right after Battlefield 6 has taken off and you know, gathering a lot of hype. So could be really interesting to see what unfolds here as we get more Black Ops 7 reveals in the coming days and weeks. We're not too far out, of course, from that Gamescom reveal where we're going to see a lot of details fully revealed. Of course, I'll be breaking that down in full detail alongside everything else going on in COD. So feel free to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all of that. And if you enjoyed this video, a like rating on your way out would be really appreciated. But that's going to do it for this one. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy. Have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.